As learning and development professionals, we are familiar with various types of learning strategies, such as the idea that using a mnemonic, such as Roy G. Biv, helps people learn and remember the colors of the rainbow, or the idea that teaching concepts should be done with examples and non-examples. However, our coworkers within our organizations may not be as familiar with instructional strategies and may not even understand how the process of learning actually works. For example, many people not in our profession tend to think that humans store information by making a literal copy of that information and then just verbatimly recalling that information whenever it's needed. They'll often call that, some form of learning, but that's not how we learn. Instead, we learn by encoding and storing new information by relating it to what we already know. We map new information onto current information and link our new information with existing information. In academic terms, we call that adding information to our pre-existing schemas. One of our roles or tasks in an environment where we are empowering others to learn is to teach people that the act of retrieving information actually helps to reinforce learning. For example, the act of taking a quiz is not just a tool for checking to see if we've learned information, it's a tool for reinforcing knowledge and helping to make the recall stronger. In fact, academic researcher Robert Bork indicates that the act of retrieving information is itself a potent learning event. Retrieving information for a quiz or use on the job doesn't leave that information in our brain in the same state as it was prior to being recalled. No, by retrieving information, the information we retrieve becomes more recallable in the future than it would have been otherwise, and competing information that's associated with similar but irrelevant cues becomes less recallable in the future. As Bork states, using our memory in effect alters our memories. Therefore, from an instructional standpoint, our goal is to create conditions that foster storage and enhance later retrieval by incorporating evidence-based instructional design practices into our designs, but also by teaching others the techniques that enable them to recall and apply new information they're learning. There are many well-known instructional strategies that seasoned instructional designers and trainers are familiar with. In fact, many of those concepts are covered in the on-demand workshops available in this community. So we're not going to cover a large group, a bunch of instructional strategies in this section, but out of all the instructional strategies available, two I think are really worthy of discussing in this context, in the context of helping others to take charge of their own learning. And I think it'll be important. So these concepts are the concept of interleaving and the concept of desirable difficulty. Both seem a bit counterintuitive, but both lead to measurable learning outcomes. In the next lessons in this section, we'll cover both of these instructional strategies. We'll cover interleaving and desirable difficulty.